Tony Wiggins here with Locked On Jaguars, Friday edition, weekend edition, however you want to see it. The Jags play the Titans. I got a strange feeling they're going to get their first win this Sunday. How will they do it? I'll explain how they can do it and also tell you what will happen if they don't do it.
You are Locked On Jags, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is happening, man? This is Tony Wiggins here on a Friday. Of course, it's game time this weekend as the Titans come to TIAA Bank Field to play the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 0-4 trying to get off the snide. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for joining us here on Locked On Jaguars and making us your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. A little late today, man, but that's my bad. I had some Wi-Fi issues and had to get to a good place where I had some connectivity. Hopefully we'll get that fixed and you guys don't have to wait. I'll tell you about today's show and what we have. I'm going to first segment lay out some opportunities for success that the Jaguars can have this weekend against the Tennessee Titans and tell you who the Titans will be without that might help that case. I'll also tell you in the second segment what will happen if things don't go well. And obviously it's something that we have to talk about because the possibility does exist since the Jaguars have lost 19 straight that they'll lose the 20th straight game. And then you'll start to hear rumblings of why that happened. And of course, we know what's going to get blamed for that. And then in segment 3, I'll explain why it's so important and why this game would actually mean a lot to the fans because of the history of these two teams. So without much ado, let's get right into it. Why do I think the Jaguars have a chance and an opportunity? Because I always leave room for players to do what players and athletes do well, and that is perform under pressure. The Jaguars, the players have been questioned and talked to, and I don't know if you guys heard Jihad White when he was asked. I think somebody called him after practice. I could almost sense that there's a little bit of frustration, not with the situation involving head coach Urban Meyer and all of the controversy that comes with it, but I sense that there's a little bit of frustration in the fact that he had to talk about another grown man's business when it has nothing to do with those guys trying to go out and win football games. And when you played in an organization as he has with Baltimore, they're probably used to winning at least 2/3 of their game or maybe 70% of their games, and guys just aren't used to losing. Most of the guys, when they get to the NFL, usually have won their entire life because most of them, at least until they got in college, was probably the best player on their team growing up and in high school. So it's a lot to be said that when guys start to get, loss fatigue is what I call it, and they really just want to batten it down and kind of stick together. So sometimes the team can be galvanized, especially if you're a group of players and you're like, look, that foolishness ain't got nothing to do with us. Dudes put us in a crazy position. Forget about him. And that's what I took from the tweet that the Jaguars sent out with the players in the huddle. And Trevor Lawrence captioned underneath it and said, it's all we need. Basically, that's almost saying like, we just need to stay together. We ain't worried about nobody else, which goes, attach that to the fact that Urban Meyer said it's on the players, which I think he has some selfish reasons for doing that. And I think he's sort of wrong and it doesn't stick with the message that he's always put out. However, whatever it is, I remember one of my favorite shows, The Wire, Slim Charles, the actor I actually knew, Anwan Glover. I knew him in real life, and Anwan said, even if it's a lie, we fight on that lie. So even if it's not really on the players, even if it's not the players' responsibility, even if he doesn't believe it, that's what we're going to fight on this weekend. So I think the Jaguar players are just due. And then I don't think the Titans are actually playing very well. I've had them to be the favorites in the AFC South, and they haven't looked like the same team that has made deep runs into the playoffs the last 2 years. Derrick Henry's still Derrick Henry, but their offensive line, which they're known for, hasn't played particularly well. The Jaguars actually do play the run really well, and they can actually get after you a little bit when they have it dialed up. Now, there's some people that'll go, well, Joe Burrow was sitting back there making, a ham sandwich, and he doesn't look like he was pressured. That's in the second half. So we'll see if, from a situational standpoint, if the Jaguars can figure out how to maintain and continue the momentum that they had in the first half. And once they get that going this week, to try to keep going with that this week. Okay, so Julio Jones is out. One of the reasons that I had the Titans rated so highly was because they're adding Julio Jones on the other side of A.J. Brown. And I'd say as of this point, I think Julio's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But if you ask me, the Jets have got more out of ex-Titan Chris Davis than the Titans have gotten out of Julio Jones so far. So that just kind of looks like a little bit of a weird deal. And if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season if I thought that was possible, I would have told you no. But I think the Jaguars can attack him. I don't think Julio Jones being out actually helps the cause of Tennessee's offense. In fact, I think it hurts it because it now makes them super one-dimensional. Even though A.J. Brown's a good player, he's also a little bit banged up, so you can roll your coverages over there. They also don't have Jonnu Smith anymore, who hurt the Jaguars in the past. So we'll have to see if the Jaguars can really take advantage of those situations. Now, if you flip it around on the other side of the ball, I think the Jaguars can make some headway in the passing game. One, because the Titans surprisingly haven't been able to get pressure on a quarterback, even though the last few years they've really invested a lot in their front seven. The other thing is they still can't cover people. And Tyler Rowland on our crossover show actually pinpointed, I can't remember who it was, but he actually pinpointed the guy who's really been the biggest problem for them. So I think there'll be some opportunities in the passing game, even though DJ Chark won't be available. So I'm looking for good contributions from Laviska Shenault. I'm looking for good contributions from Jamal Agnew. And then I'm looking for Trevor Lawrence to do a really good job of knowing when to pull the ball down and extend drives and get positive yards with his legs. We need him to get down, though. We don't need him to take any unnecessary shots. All right, so that's my prognosis for if things go well, how the Jaguars can win, which I actually think they're going to win this game. It's a weird way, but that's the better in me. And I've been actually doing really good with my predictions in pro and college. So I just got this gut feeling. I cannot put my finger on it, but I think they're going to find a way to win this game and get the focus back on football because this is the last home game they're going to play here, I think, for 3 or 4 weeks. So they have a bye week and then they have a couple of road games. Of course, they have the trip to London as well. So there's nothing they'd like to do. It's like the jury going. It's like if you're at a trial and the last thing you say before the jury leaves for the weekend, you want that statement to be profound so it really sits on the minds of those people. And I think the Jaguars want a victory to really sit on the minds of the fans until they're able to get back here and play. What if things go wrong? Yeah, it's going to be more of the same around here. It's going to be more misery. It's going to be more of the same that we're all used to around here. So I'm going to tell you, if things don't go right in the second segment, what will happen here in Jacksonville, and I'll do it in just a second here on a Friday and weekend edition of Locked On Jaguars after I tell you about betonline.ag. And I told y'all I've been on fire with my bets all year. So what that means is I actually been putting a little bit of Skrilla in my pockets too, because I'm not all talk. And I'm not all about just being right. I want to be right and get paid to be right. And you can do the same thing, too, if you go to BetOnline, because it's your number one spot for all of the pro and college football action this season. Big boxing match this weekend. Also, it's Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder Part 3. And that'll be on Saturday night. And I'm sure they got some stuff on that, too. In fact, why don't you just take all of these things and start parlaying some stuff together and see if you can really get paid. Now, if you head to the website, or you can use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. But you don't forget to use the promo code, which is Locked On, to receive your bonus from football, boxing, all of these things, and your favorite Vegas casino games also. BetOnline is on fire, and it's where you need to be too, man, because it's smoking hot. All right, so BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. Don't forget to use the promo code Locked On to get the 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit at betonline.ag. Keeping it rolling along here, man, on a Friday or the weekend. You can call it the weekend version of the podcast, since I'm kind of hitting you with it a little bit later than I normally do. But I do appreciate you making Locked On Jaguars your first listen of the day. And we are free on all platforms for you to make that first listen. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube as well. If things don't go wrong, we always have to look at both sides of it. I'm sure my lawyer friends love the fact that I'm using all of these legal terms, and not only using these legal terms, but I'm also playing the advocate for both sides of this situation. So here's what could go wrong on both sides. We know the Sharks can be out because people want that pound of flesh all the time. And Urban Meyer, obviously, in the last week made waves. Now, I can tell you, I probably can safely say that there are people out there that probably don't want that story to die. And in fact, they're probably trying to dig stuff up so that it could keep going. Do what you do. That's not what we do here on Locked On Jaguars. People want to hear about football, so that's what we're going to talk about. But how does it affect the team? I'll tell you how it affects the team. If they lose the game and they don't look good playing, people are going to go back to the fact that he took a 2 or 3 day weekend or a break, a self-imposed break to get away from it 4 weeks into the season when it wasn't really a bye week. It was just that they played on Thursday. So obviously, when you play on Thursday after playing on Sunday, there was work that you weren't able to put in before the next game and things that you weren't able to do because of the quick turnaround. Coming right back to work would have given you the time back that you lost, but Urban decided that everyone needed to get away from it. And like I said, normally you treat bye weeks differently than you treat just having extra days because you played early, because you actually lost some time before so you can get that time back and continue to implement your program with your young team, especially in the first year. Coming after a loss on a walk-off, which was the most improved play that you'd had. And it was a really, really good showing. And it was a golden opportunity in the eyes of a lot of people to really capitalize on it, not get away from it, but keep driving, keep going, and keep digging. But for some reason, Urban decided something else. If they don't win this game and they regress, especially at home, folks are going to point back to the missed time. Folks are going to point back to and say, if you got time to be hanging around in a bar, finagling and doing whatever, you should have time to be working on your craft. The same thing they said about Shaq when he wasn't shooting free throws 29 hours a day. The thing is this is what happens. And whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, these are the things that happen when you, one, lose, two, when you lose and you take a break when normally no one else takes a break. They would have pointed out that if you'd been on a team playing with your head in your iPad, seeing what was wrong and trying to correct it immediately, and immediately implement that with the players, that maybe they would have improved and maybe things would have gotten better. This is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you, if they don't win the game, and then don't let them get mollywopped now. Don't let them go out there and get ran through and ran over. Maybe that's not politically correct thing to say right now, but don't let it happen. I mean, don't go out there and look like a dumpster fire, because if you go out and look like a dumpster fire, then it makes everything I just said, it's going to be piled on 10 times worse. And it's going to lead all of the shows on all of the major networks. They're going to have his face up there, and they're going to find the saddest photo they can. And I can imagine the captions that are going to be coming up underneath there and the conversations that are going to be coming from the people that, quite frankly, some people on those networks have already called for his job. So that be prepared for that if they lose, and if they lose embarrassingly, then it's going to actually get worse. And now, if he really thought he needed to get away and he needs a break, I really wonder now what's going to happen. Because if you need a break after your best performance of the year, I would think after the performance in Cincinnati, you want to, damn, we were close, man. Come on, we almost there. Let's break through. So that's a part of this is really, really weird for me, because the Urban Meyer that I remember and the one that I was glad that they hired, I always thought would think, let's keep chomping at the bit. Let's go. Don't get away from anything. So, yeah, you can be prepared for that to come. That's going to happen if that happens. So, but Confucius Wig has already told you that he actually thinks that Jacksonville's going to win the game. So I don't think that'll happen. I'm going to talk why it's so important for the Jaguar fans too if they beat the Titans. It won't just be that they've broken this 19-game losing streak, but if there's anybody you want to break it against, it's them. And most people that know about this rivalry and that takes time to listen to the show, they understand that. But I'm going to give it to you from a different perspective. Why do Jaguar fans hate the Titans so much? I'll tell you why in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. But I got to tell you right now that Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever. That's right. I said ever, and I mean it, because I've never tasted anything like it that's healthy for you. Everything that tastes like Built Bar in my entire life is something that you're not supposed to eat. Everything that tastes like Built Bar in my entire life is something that I always wanted to eat before I ate my vegetables, and my mother would not allow me to do it. So you can eat Built Bar as many as you want, however you want to get down with it, all day long, and they have 9 delicious flavors. 9 delicious flavors, and a limited time flavor with the cookie dough chunk that's absolutely off the chain. Now, I'm gonna name these flavors for you: coconut almond, cherry, raspberry, mint brownie, peanut butter brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel, which is my personal favorite. And so there's something for everybody, and the macros are outstanding. 17 to 18 grams of protein, only about 130 to 180 calories per bar, depending on which one you get. 4 or 5 grams of sugar and 4 or 5 grams of net carbs. And you can get Built Bar at built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your next order. That's right. The promo code is LOCKED15, and you get 15% off at built.com. Check them out at @bar_built on Twitter for all the latest news involving Built Bar. Friday is the day. Tony Wiggins is my name. Locked On Jaguars is the podcast, and it is your first listen of the day, and we thank you for that. It is free on all platforms and where you get your podcast, and we are so happy that you allow us to bang on your eardrums every day for about 28 to 31 minutes to talk about your favorite team, which is the Jaguars, a team that we really hope can get off of this losing streak. And we actually would really love for it to be this week, especially because they're playing the Tennessee Titans. I call the Tennessee Titans, I've always called them the ingrown toenail of this franchise, because they just hurt like hell. They annoy you, and they keep growing and coming right back, and you got to figure out a way to get it out again. So they're always just that. No matter how good the Jaguars are, the Jaguars' best team they ever had lost to the Titans 3 times in 1 year, and it prevented them from going to the Super Bowl. Every single time the Jaguars think they got something going right, here they come screwing it up. And they always seem to do it with physicality and toughness, and a big old physical running back, and a mobile quarterback, and a good tight end play, and a real scrappy defense, and a coach that you kind of don't like. Nobody liked Jeff Fisher, and it's hard for anybody who isn't a Titan fan to like Mike Vrabel. But it ain't like you're going to run up on Mike Vrabel and do anything about it, because he probably knock you out because he looks like a WWE fighter. So, yeah, man, it's or an AEW fighter, word Tony Khan. So the thing is what is it? I don't know. I know the Jaguar faithful, they really can't stand the Titans. And the Titans, the fans rub them the wrong way. The Jaguar fans kind of look and talk about Titans fans like they smell funny or something. And I know it's not true, but you know how sometimes you have that perception. It's like you really don't like them. You ever been around a situation where you know 2 people and you like both of them, but one of them doesn't like the other one? Every time that person isn't around, the one person, you bring that name up and a frown comes on their face, and you just go, dog, you really don't like bro, do you? That's how the Jaguar fans are with the Titans fan. Can't stand them. Can't stand the fans. Can't stand the team. Can't stand the fact that they probably don't even eat mayonnaise on their sandwiches anymore, because those people up there in Tennessee love mayonnaise so much. So it's just that this would be a special win. Not even probably because the Jaguars would be breaking a losing streak, but it'd be a special win because you get a chance to look at the Titans and say, y'all let us beat y'all. Y'all lost. We ain't beat nobody in 2 years, and we beat y'all. Don't you feel bad? I really do believe that the Jaguars are due, and I think this will make the fans feel, while not totally great, I think it'll make them feel pretty good, and I'm hoping for the best. In fact, Confucius Wig has already picked that it's going to happen. I tell you what else happens every single day for me. My first listen, and your first listen is always Locked On Jaguars. I think your second listen needs to be the Peacock and Williamson NFL show, Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson give you the expert NFL analysis in less than 30 minutes. It's free and available on all platforms. All right, you know what it is on Monday. We'll have immediate reaction on Sunday as soon as I clear getting back out of the stadium. I'm not going to go to the work area. I'm going to come home and then I'm going to give you immediate reaction. And then we're talking about a victory, or we're talking about a close game and we see some blue sky where the team is getting better. Hopefully we're not talking about an embarrassing loss that's going to lead to more speculation about Urban Meyer and his ability to be the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars moving forward. So what I'm going to do is sign off for the weekend, and I'm going to let you guys know to do the right thing, man. I'm going to be here Columbus Day. I will be recording Monday. Just continue to take care of each other and enjoy the game on Sunday. Hopefully my prediction comes true. And until then, I'm going to sign off and tell you I will hear you and I'll see you and you'll hear me on Monday. Make sure you guys subscribe and check it out on YouTube as well. And once again, it's Tony Wiggins with Locked On Jaguars. Take care.